Hi everyone, it's Cindy Huston here with Yoga Body Elements.
And hi everyone, I'm Laura Rose with Listening Touch Bodywork and Coaching.
And we're here to share Biomat Restorative Yoga with you. This is a practice that we've been sharing since 2016, and we wanted to get on here and show you a little bit of what the practice looks like with the biomats and restorative yoga. So we're going
Yay.
to just go through a few postures and show you what it looks like. And if you have a biomat, please get your biomat out. If you have yoga props, you can use a bolster and two blocks. If you don't have any yoga block props, you can use a pillow. You can use any like books, like a firm book can work. Laura's showing her blanket. Any
Yeah.
other props they should have?
Well, if you don't have a biomat and you want to experience some warmth, you can also use a heating pad, although you don't get all the benefits that you would with a biomat. Some people like to use a hot water bottle. Um, yeah, whatever you have on hand. The point is to give yourself some restorative time to really quiet the nervous system and shift into a place where your body can heal itself. So we're so glad you're here.
Thank you for joining us. So if you need to pause the video and grab your props and set up your mat, please do. And when you're ready, we're going to go into the first posture, which is Supta Baddha Konasana. And I have the Biomat Pro underneath me, and I have the Biomat, the Bio Belt here, and I'll show you with the Bio Belt. But to set up the yoga props, you can put a bolster or a pillow to the back part of your mat. And then you want to have two blocks or towels or blankets, whatever you're going to use on your outer thighs. But just to show you, if you did have a bio belt and you wanted to put it on, I'm going to put it on the front part of my body. So I'm getting the support from the bio belt in for my abdomen, for my hips, for my pelvis, and I'm still getting that support with the mat underneath me. Have the blocks on the second or the first level. Second level is going to support more of your lower back, and first level is going to support your hip openers. So whichever you would like to practice today. So we're going to bring our soles of our feet together, let our knees come apart, slide your bolster or your pillow snug up to your back, and we're going to just gently recline back. And so go ahead and just make any subtle adjustments you need to with the props, with your Biomat products. And so we're going to stay in these postures for a few minutes, and you can, if you're practicing on your own, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes is a good amount of time to stay in your restorative yoga posture. So as we settle into this first posture, go ahead and make some subtle movements. You might stretch your left arm a little longer and then your right. You could do this a few times, really feeling some space between your shoulders and your ears. And let's start to notice our breathing. Inhaling through your nose. And then exhaling out your mouth. Moving more into an audible breath. You might start to hear your breath. So as you inhale, hear the breath pass through the back of your throat like an ujjayi breath into the belly. And then from that belly or navel center, exhale out, feel the breath move out your mouth. We're going to just stay with this breath practice while we're in this posture. Allowing yourself to receive the benefits of the infrared. Acknowledging the infrared connecting to the body on a cellular level. Inviting in more blood flow, more circulation as you breathe. You might choose to keep your arms as they are. You might choose to reach your arms overhead, biceps near ears, letting those pinky fingers spin in if that's comfortable, or hold that bolster or pillow that's underneath your spine, behind your back. And whether your arms are reaching overhead or still by your sides, try releasing your head slowly to one side. Exhale. And inhale back to center. And then exhale, release to the other side. And back to center. Just feeling that connection in your head to your spine. When you're complete with that movement, just slowly lower your arms down by your sides if you were reaching back. Give yourself some time to notice any difference in the body, how your breath might have changed, your pattern. And if your hips are ready, you might lower the blocks down or completely slide those blocks out to the side, deeper hip stretch. And then either keeping your arms as they are, or maybe you connect your hands to your torso. Maybe laying your hands over the Biomat mini or belt if you have it over your belly. Or maybe connecting one hand over the heart and sternum, one hand over the navel. And for the next few moments, balancing the breath between the heart and the navel. If you feel one hand moving or receiving the breath a little more, to focus on breathing more into the hand that's moving less. And you don't have to rush out of this posture. But when you're ready, on your next exhale, slowly close your knees together like a book and feel your feet come onto the ground or onto your biomat if it's underneath you. And then very slowly start to windshield wiper your knees side to side, keeping your tailbone relaxed to the ground. And then when you're ready, slowly release your knees to one side. Let your legs lead you. Let your torso follow. And we find fetal position on the right. Your head could rest on your right arm. And then when you're ready, press your palms down and slowly come up to seated. Let your head come up last. And then if you do have your belt around you, you might remove it or keep it on for your next posture.
So next we're going to do a supported bridge. And we have lots of options here for supported bridge. One option is to take a rolled up yoga mat and place it right along where Cindy had the bolster. So I have it vertically along my Biomat Pro. And for those of you that don't know, I have the Biomat Pro here, and on top of it is this really cushiony quantum energy pad that's like this soft, warm cloud. So if your Biomat feels kind of firm and you don't have a quantum energy pad, you could try layering on some extra blankets. Some people like to have more than one of the cotton pads on top if it feels just a little firm for your body. And so then it's nice to have some blankets and at least one block. So we're gonna roll back onto the yoga mat. I like to have it a little bit higher than the top of my sacrum and make sure it's right in the middle of your back. And you can start to feel the heart opening here. And then you're going to gently press into your feet to curl your tip of your tailbone up towards the sky, lifting up into a bridge, and then sensing which side of the block feels best for you. For me, I like to have it up on the second tallest side, but some people might like it on the very first side. So lifting up just a little taller than the block and then making sure it's in a nice centered position and resting your sacrum on the block. And you can tuck your shoulder blades in towards your spine so that your heart can open, your chest can soften. And just really feel the weight of your arms resting into the biomat. Feeling your feet connected with your biomat. Feeling your connection with the earth underneath the biomat. And just taking a moment to acknowledge that you're laying on a mat filled with amethyst crystals. And opening your body and your spirit to receive from whatever benefit those crystals are offering you. Even without any heat, the crystals themselves create a field of negative ions. And then when you turn the biomat on, even without heat, you have even more negative ions, that's the best part about being out in nature. That's why we feel so good when we're out in the forest or near a waterfall or out at the ocean. So just taking a moment to connect with nature. And if you'd like to try a little breath practice, you can imagine that there's a circle with your breath. So when you breathe in, you're breathing up. I like to kind of circle around my heart space. So we're breathing up between the shoulder blades. And then when you exhale, imagining a wave crashing over your heart. And with your next inhale, feeling that energy of that wave drawing up around the back of your heart. And then allowing that wave to crash down the front of your heart. Just staying with the flow of your breath. This could be a place where if you have a mini, you can bring your mini to the top of your body if you want to experience a little biomat sandwich. So I'm going to demonstrate with my mini, just draping it across the belly and the chest, and just feel how you are sandwiched in those beneficial negative ions and the incredible soothing warmth of the infrared. I'm feeling how the biomat not only replenishes, but it also helps to clear. And so imagining with that exhale, that wave, you're letting go of whatever you want to release. And maybe staying with the Ujjayi breath that Cindy introduced, softening the jaw with your exhale and exhaling out the mouth. Receiving and releasing. When you feel ready, you can press into your feet, curl that tip of your tailbone up towards the sky to lift up off the bolster, removing it, bringing it to the side and rolling down. Feeling your connection with the biomat again, with your sacrum. And when you feel complete, rolling to the left side just to balance it out. So we did the right side, rolling to the left side, off of the mat. And really letting yourself soften and melt into the biomat. And when you're ready, I'm not sure which pose Cindy's doing next, but you can come up to a seated posture, gently pressing into the floor and bringing yourself up to an upright. Just no small feet after laying on the biomat. Start to feel gravity really doing its thing there. It's like softening and melting.
You're going to go into reclined mountain pose or Supta Tadasana. So if you have yoga blocks, the variation I like to start with is having one block on the third level and one block on the second level. This is going to give you the deepest chest opener. If this is too intense for you, lower the block down to the first level and one to the second level. Second level for your head, first level for your shoulder blades. And if you don't have yoga blocks, that rolled up mat that Laura showed can be just as good for reclined mountain or just laying flat on your back if you don't want to do a chest opener. And then let's have a bolster, or it could be that rolled up mat is gonna go underneath your knees. And this is gonna just support your lower back. So whatever, or this could also be a pillow or a rolled up blanket. Whatever you're putting underneath your knees, you wanna have it as close to your sit bones as you can. So that's gonna really give you that extra support. And then if you have a mini up your belt and you want to place it over the front of you again, the belt you might want to preset before you recline, and then maybe just have the mini near you before you recline. Okay, so to recline, we're going to slowly recline back and reach back for that first block. So you line up your shoulder blades on top of that block. Now this could be the base of your shoulder blades. It could be right in the middle of your shoulder blades. I like it to feel like there's two hands supporting my shoulder blades. So if your block feels like that, you're in the right spot. And then your top block is going to go underneath your head. What we don't want to do with the top block is have it on an edge. So once you put your head on the block, just slide your palms of your hands from your head down to your mat and just make sure that that block, if you're using a block, is in a straight line. And then once you're there, just slowly lower your arms down by your sides, placing any other Biomat products that you want to have over you, or you might cover up with a blanket. And of course, at any time throughout the practice, if your temperature starts to drop, which is very often in a restorative yoga practice as the body accesses deeper relaxation, just feel free to turn up your temperature on your mat or your belt as you need. But just like we did in Baddha Konasana, we can stretch one arm and then the other so we feel our shoulders have a little more space between our ears. And then we're going to do the same with the legs so we can stretch the left leg a little longer, like we're trying to touch the toes to the wall in front of us. And then let that leg come back down. And the same with the right. Reaching that right leg. It might lift off the mat slightly, that's okay. And then slowly lower it down. And just do those leg extensions as many times as you need. So we're really feeling for some space between the shoulder sockets and the hip sockets. And then eventually find your way back to stillness. And begin to notice your inhale and your exhale. First, starting with that inhale through the nose. Feel the breath go to your navel, your belly, and then exhale from your belly out your mouth. That's breath practice 1. 2 could be bringing back that ujjayi, breathing in through the back of the throat. Feel the breath travel to the lower belly. Exhale from lower belly, breath passes the throat with open or sealed lips. And that ujjayi breath, that wind tunnel or seashell sounding breath, can be more warming for the body too, more purifying, more cleansing, more detoxing. So you might have those intentions by doing your practice with your biomat. And then you might even touch your thumbs against each finger pad, feeling a sensation. The yogis say that each finger is connected to a planet and an element. I'll share those elements now. Thumb is fire. Index finger, air. Middle finger, earth. Middle finger, ether. ring finger earth, and pinky finger water. Or it might just feel nice to connect your thumb to one of your finger pads. And as Laura mentioned, the elements as well, maybe you allow yourself to shift the mind to a place in nature where you would naturally receive those negative ions that your biomat is so generously connecting you to. You see yourself by your favorite body of water, in your favorite forest, on top of your favorite mountain. You're just receiving a similar warmth from the sun. Staying connected to your breath. Making any subtle adjustments, any subtle shifts you need as your body accesses a deeper sense of relaxation. And as we did in Baddha Konasana, you might reach your hands back to touch that block that's underneath your head or any prop that's underneath you. And you might move your head just gently from side to side again. Maybe if you have a prop, or maybe it's just the floor underneath you, you feel your head gently receiving this massage-like sensation from this movement. When you're ready, head comes to center and arms lower down by your sides. And we're going to start to think about coming out of this reclined mountain Supta Tadasana. And to do so, we're going to start rotating our wrists and ankles very slowly. So if you feel like you're moving slow, try to move even slower. And it might be just a few rotations one direction and then a few reversing. Finding those gentle energy releases in the joints. And then when you're ready, take your time. Walk your feet back towards your hips. They might land on the bolster. You might use your feet to slide that bolster or prop that was underneath your legs to the side. And then we'll windshield wiper the knees again. Just shifting from the big toe side of foot to pinky toe side of foot. Then whichever side is really calling you to roll towards, let your legs lead to that side. Let your arms follow. Catch yourself with your hands and slide off the props that were underneath your spine. Head lands on your right or left arm. Then when you're ready, pressing those palms down, try to let your head come up last as you slowly rise up to seated. And we'll move into our next posture.
Our next pose is going to be legs up the wall, Viparita Karani. So if you have a pro, you're welcome to orient it so that the base of the mat is right up against the wall. I'm going to use my Pro and my Mini. One thing to keep in mind if you are doing longer sessions with your Biomat is to keep your head cool. So as we start to prepare for this, if you want to bring a blanket or something to put underneath your head, we just don't want your brain to be getting too hot in this pose. So bringing yourself up to the wall so that you're facing sideways against the wall, and then rotating your body down to the floor, bringing your legs up the wall. If this doesn't feel comfortable for you, it's also okay to use a second blanket or a bolster under your hips. But if it is accessible, you don't have to be flush against the wall. You can be a few inches away. I like to really get the benefit of the Biomat on my sacrum, so I'm not going to be using the blanket today. And once you've found you're comfortable, but if you are using a blanket, you can just do a similar to a bridge where you kind of roll your tailbone up and place your prop underneath your hips, which can be a really lovely benefit. It's a subtle inversion. But if you're comfortable laying flat, go ahead and set yourself up laying flat so you can get the full benefit of the Biomat on your sacrum. And gently tuck the shoulder blades in towards the spine, rolling the shoulders out, and really allowing the weight of the bones in your legs to settle into your pelvis. Surrendering the weight of your body to the Biomat. Allowing yourself to be fully supported and held. And slowing down your breath, smoothing it out. It can be helpful to just bring awareness to the transitions between the inhale and the exhale, and the exhale and the inhale. And just continue to allow your awareness to stay with this pleasurable sensation of warmth. Far infrared is also emanated from human beings. So it's almost like having a cuddle companion that you can just lay all over. So just allow yourself to receive that warmth. See if you can notice how far that infrared penetrates your body. Inviting your organs to receive that warmth. Allowing that heat to increase circulation around your joints, around your spinal segments. And if your mind wanders off, just come back to the awareness of the weight of your body, of the warmth of the biomat. Giving yourself full permission to receive and rest. And when you feel ready, you can start to bring a little movement to fingers and toes. It can be nice to take Baddha Konasana against the wall, opening the hips. You can also play with wide angle with the legs, just opening the hips. And when you feel ready, feeling which side you're drawn to turn towards and coming to drop your knees to that side, resting on that arm. Taking a moment to allow the weight of your body to surrender in this posture. Sending gratitude to the earth for supporting you in your practice. And if you're practicing with the biomat, sending gratitude to the biomat and the crystals and the warmth. And gratitude to yourself for taking this time for yourself. And when you're ready, you can press into your mat and come upright to a seated posture. Noticing the effect of this practice on your body, your mind, and your spirit.
So that was a shorter version of our 90-minute practice. And we hope you enjoyed this experience, received a little bit more learning and practicing with your biomat. Or if you don't have a biomat yet, you can see what is possible to practice restorative yoga with a biomat. And we would love to see you at a 90-minute practice. And if you would like this practice to come to you, whether in person or virtually, please contact myself or Laura to schedule that, and we'd be happy to share this experience with you in person or virtual. I'm mostly in Chicago, and Laura.
And I'm mostly in Boulder, Colorado. And there's biomats all over the world. So if you don't have a biomat, go find yourself one and experience this incredible peace and healing that's available.
Absolutely. Laura, thank you so much for collaborating on this experience and sharing your experience and expertise in yoga and biomat knowledge. This was an absolute pleasure and joy.
Thank you, Cindy. It was such a lovely practice, and thank you for sharing all of your beautiful wisdom. And I'm ready to take a longer biomat nap now.
And so I encourage you all to do the same and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.